Hey guys, and welcome to the first edition of the World 1-1 podcast. If you have seen our recent videos or any of our past videos, you recognize who we are and where we're from. Just do a quick introduction if you don't know who we are or where we're from. This is Rudy here. He's the owner of World 1-1 Games here in Santa Maria, California. And here I have the assistant manager of World 1-1 Games, AJ. And myself, I am the manager of World 1-1 Games. My name's Alex, and I'll be hosting the World 1-1 podcast, and we hope to see more of you. So, pretty much what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take all the hot topics that's going on in gaming in recent time. You know, we're going to go ahead and do this once a week, get all the fundamental facts that's going on in the world of gaming, and bring them to you in our own sense of style of news. So today we have a few subjects that we'd like to go over, and today we're going to start off with GameStop closing stores. What's that all about?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are they closing one local?
I hope so. That's good news for us. Close them all around us.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. When I heard that GameStop was closing stores, I was like, oh, please let it be the Santa Maria one. Please let it be the Santa Maria.
And if not the Lompoc one, let it be one.
Yeah. You know, if you guys don't know, I'm like, if they close the store, that means more people have to come to us. And, you know, that's better business.
But the store in Santa Maria.
Yeah, but from what I researched and what I read, GameStop's, they're going to be closing, what was it, up to 225 stores? Or it's over 200, I know that what they're talking about.
It's rising, because at first they announced it was 150, and then it keeps on growing. But like that seems to be the stop where it's at right now.
Yeah, and what is that, like 2-3% of their total stores? So they have over like 7,000 stores in the U.S. or worldwide. So, you know, 2-3%, what is that, a little bit over 200. So it's really not that, in the big scheme of things, it's just like a little pinnail drop of a bucket.
To them, it is. To them, it's not much.
They're losing some loose change, that's about it.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, you know, on YouTube, they're talking about it, and everybody says it's the end of GameStop, and we all have an opinion. Mm-hmm. So, go ahead.
Do I think it's the end of GameStop? No. I mean,
Okay.
they have millions of dollars. They have a bunch of revenue, so they got hurt this past Christmas, but I don't think it's going to put them out of business. I mean, shoot, they're not Radio Shack.
Radio Shack.
Rest in peace, Radio Shack.
Now, their sales last Christmas, I guess they didn't make as much money as they projected or anything like that. So I believe they're closing down some underperforming stores, which a lot of retail places, they do that. You know what I'm saying? They have shareholders to answer to. And when you have an underperforming Christmas and everything, and just from last Christmas, trust me, I understand that's when retail stores make most of their money.
Which we had a great Christmas, by the way.
We had a great Christmas.
So thank you again for everyone who shopped with us on Christmas. It was very good. Thank you.
So us being in retail, I realized really soon, because if I look at the numbers all the time, we made our most money during Christmas. So obviously they have projections, they have shareholders that they got to sell and everything. Got to sell it. This is what we're going to do and everything. So their projections were probably a lot lower than they expected.
Yeah.
And to make up for that, they were going to close up probably some underperforming stores. And sometimes they do have a lot of stores that are really close together, and that, you know, that's like competing against yourself. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say if you have a GameStop right here and 10 miles away there's another GameStop. Is it really necessary?
No.
You don't want your GameStops to be like 7-Elevens.
No, probably not.
There's like in our town, there's a 7-Eleven on almost every corner.
Yeah, they do great business.
They do great business.
They make a lot of money.
I know.
I think my take on the whole thing is all the people behind GameStop. You talk about the shareholders. You talk about the people who invested all their money into it. The people who invested their money into it are usually people with a lot of money. Granted, you think about, do they even know about video games in the first place, or are they just taking a monetary venture? It's like, hey, I see this is making money. Hopefully this makes more money. But when you go to GameStop, you don't get a home feel where you can talk to your homies about games. You go in there like it's like I have to get, I'm forced to buy this.
Oh, you mean they're forcing you on their subscriptions?
Exactly. I want to go in there and be like, okay, I'm in my place. I feel very comfortable. I could come in and browse and buy the game I want to buy and not be pushed a game down my throat. And I think that's why GameStop as a conglomerate really doesn't mind closing all these stores, when us as consumers or people who constantly shop at GameStop, they're like, oh, you know, they're closing all these shops down, they must not make any money. Well, no, the thing is they took this risk to make more of it. They're not sad. it was just more of a quick project, and people didn't buy into it. And so so we're gonna try a different venture. Them closing doesn't mean they're gonna fail. If they file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, then we're gonna be talking about something else. But just them closing stores, as AJ said, it's not the end. It's not. They just closed a couple shops. That's it.
Now, I'll jump in a little bit over there. They're okay right now.
No, they're absolutely fine.
Right now,
they're fine.
They're okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, let's say 5-6 years down the line, we could be talking about a different story. And the only reason I'm going to say that is just because of the rise of digital media and everything like that. Let's make no mistake, more people are downloading their games than buying them physical and then trading them in. Because you guys all know, and even with us, we make most of our money off of used games. That's no joke, all right?
Yeah,
no joke.
No.
Yeah, when you guys trade in the game and everything like that, that's how a store like me or GameStop, we make most of our money. We don't make that much money off of a brand new game. Most people, like when I have a $60 game and we sell it at $60, the store only really makes about $7-ish, $8
Tops.
Yeah, it's really not that much. So the used game market is, when we get a game in for trade and then we sell it, we have higher profit margins, and that's how actually we stay in business. If we were just trying to stay in business off of brand new games, it wouldn't work.
No.
But there wouldn't be enough money to pay the bills and pay employees and pay the taxes. We would go out of business pretty quick. So it's the used game sales that keeps us in business. So that's what I'm trying to get to, is where the rise of not digital, everybody downloading their games into their consoles.
Digital market.
Yeah, the digital market. That leaves less physical copies out there, which means less trade-ins, which then means less money to places like GameStop and even to us, World War I. So that's why when you go into a GameStop today, they kind of diversified their inventory, their merchandise. They have a lot more stuff other than gaming now.
It's a very pop culture place. You have Pops, all this. You're really digging into the anime merchandise. They have merchandise from video games like Halo toys or Five Nights at Freddy toys and stuff like that. It's not just games anymore. And you look closer and you see in your local GameStop, they have iPods. Whatever,
they got wallets, T-shirts,
accessories. It's
I think they dabbed into cell phones too for a while.
Cricket.
They did that for a bit.
Yeah, they activate cell phones at your game store. What is that? They're trying to really dip their toes in several different markets right in front of your face. It's
one thing I have to add. One thing is, like, they kind of push a lot of sales on customers. I noticed. We would push something, but it's if we recommend it. Like, someone's going to get a GameCube, we're going to recommend a few games. We're not going to say you have to get this game. Or, like, we're not going to push a used, like, you guys know where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
They'll push a used anything before a new one.
Yeah.
I'll tell a customer, if he wants to get a new, you can get a new. People just like to open up a new game. And
because we're not the ones to tell you what to get. You know what to get. You're going to get what you want. I'm not going to try to shove something down your throat that weird.
Unless you're trying to get Sonic 06, I'll stop you there.
I mean, if you want to get a Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo, by all means. We have a ton.
Yeah, we recently got a bunch.
Yeah, man. Keep bringing those in, though. They are nice.
So, short story, or to round it all up.
And before you round it all up, just to get it out there, we're not talking smack about GameStop. No, I like GameStop. I have really cool friends that work at GameStop. Shout out to you guys.
Especially the guys in Lompoc.
Yeah, Lompoc.
Except for that one person.
Yeah, except for the one, but my Lompoc homies. It's for you.
Destiny 2.
But, it just comes down to, what's it called? I mean, hey, GameStop's not in trouble right now. In the future, in the next few years, depending on how the market goes, even with the World War I recognize, and I'm smart enough to realize that, hey, we might be going into an all-digital type of stuff. That's why we invested so much in that anime stuff and everything like that.
And it sells.
And it sells a lot. So we have our toes in a bunch of different stuff, just in case the gaming stuff does cut off. World War I can still survive off of merchandise.
We're not going to be activating cell phones.
No cell phones.
No cell phones.
No cell phones, but we'll be able to survive based off of merchandise. And there's always going to be, even if, let's just say, it all goes all digital, there's always going to be the niche of people wanting to get old Nintendo cards and stuff like that. That's always going to be there.
Hey, that's retro.
And you got to remember, it's not the merchandise that's going to help us survive. It's you.
Oh.
I care about you because if you don't come see me, then I don't eat.
Isn't he a sweetheart?
I try to be.
That's why he's the host.
All right, guys. Our next subject is one of the biggest things that was released within the last month: the Nintendo Switch. How's it selling? Where's it going? What's up with it? What do you guys think?
Dude, well,
Doing
go
well.
ahead, AJ.
It's selling really well, and one thing that just trips me out is we've been selling out of as soon as we get Breath of the Wild in, that's it. It just buys. That's it. It's gone. Then we get one traded in, which I'm surprised to even get one traded in. People buy it right off the bat. People are always asking for the Switch. We have a Switch box there, it's Rudy's box. But every day, oh, the Switch. How much for it? Oh, that's the owner's box. Oh, that sucks. That's every time, and it's just like, but we just have it there to show customers what it is. But apparently the Switch is taking off, like, in a great way. I mean, yes, there's problems here and there, but that's every console's first release. There's problems. Granted, that's how it's always been, in my opinion.
I expected the Switch to sell very well at the beginning, and that's not what I'm really worried or thinking about, because even with the NES Mini, even the Wii U, right out the gate, it sold well, very well. Now the Switch is selling at a pretty higher rate and everything like that, and there's a lot of good hype, a lot of good media. The media is really talking about it, hyping it up. That's helping too. And Nintendo always curiously. They always seem to have shortages with their stuff, which I think helps in demand with, wanting to get something and you can't get it, but that's another story.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not surprised that the Switch is selling well. Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. Played it, beat it, everything like that. What I'm not worried about, but what I want to see is 1 year down the line, next year, if the Switch is still selling well. That's what will get to me to let me know whether it's a great success or not. Because right now, it's a new product. When it's new and fresh and you're in that honeymoon period and everything, everybody wants it. Let's see a year from now whether it's still selling well. And
that's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah,
It's the honeymoon period. Everyone loves their Switch.
Yeah, everybody right now, they love their Switch and everything. I may get some hate for this, but I'm gonna be real. The only game worth playing on there is Breath of the Wild. I know that there's a few other games and everything like that, but
I mean, I'll go out and say, does our live studio audience, do you guys love your Switch?
I love it so much.
See, our live studio audience loves their Switch. Next question regarding the Switch. Recent glitches and warping of the tablet. Thoughts? Concerns? Questions?
I don't like how you said that. I don't have a Switch, so I do play Rudy's, but granted I don't play enough to notice anything, but I'm just happy with it. But friends have told me that they've had problems with the Joy-Con controller, but they would send it in and Nintendo fixes it right at the bat, so
I don't see a big issue there.
With any new product, there's always, when you're an early adopter of any type of new product, there's always going to be some things that you're going to have to go through and everything. There's always going to be that growing pains. When anything's mass produced, especially electronics, there's always going to be a certain percentage that are going to have defects and stuff like that. Stuff's going to be wrong. And we could go on. We hear about the problems about the dock scratching the screen and everything. My screen's fine, but I got a protector on the screen too as well. And recently I did hear about the tablet bending because of the too much heat. Trust me, right after I heard about that, I got my tablet out and I looked and I was like, no, it's still straight. But that type of stuff is always going to happen when you're an early adopter of any type of electronics or anything like that. So if you don't want to deal with those type of products or those type of problems, don't be an early adopter.
wait.
I'll put in my 2 cents in this. When the whole Switch was revealed after we heard it was going to be the Switch, after it being called the NX, I was, I'll go out and say it, I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy, and I'll defend it till the end. But for the Switch, I actually gave mine up to get WWE tickets. I had my Switch and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get WWE tickets instead because Rudy said, you don't adopt something right when it comes out. I didn't want to deal with the bugs. I'm not an exterminator. I'll wait till the finished product comes out, and I know the second wave is coming, but the second wave is gonna have the same bugs because they were all produced at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna even risk getting one during the summer or getting one during autumn or fall. I'm gonna wait until next January where I have a strong psychic belief that they'll come out with the new Nintendo Switch. I think they'll come out like with the Nintendo Switch XL or a Nintendo. Eventually.
I agree with
Eventually?
that.
I think
Eventually in the future? Well, not right now.
Yeah.
It'll probably take a couple of years though before we get to that, I think.
And I think they had similar plans for the Wii U, but with the Wii U having really poor sales at the end of its life, they cut those plans. But I think with the Switch, it's going to be interesting.
It's on the right track.
It's on the right track. It's an interesting time to be a video game fan, that's for sure. And did you have anything more on that?
Do you guys have any games that you're looking forward to it? I'll be straight up honest. Beat Breath of the Wild, love it. I have all the other games. Played Bomberman, Just Dance, Isaac, all the other games are just nothing to get us. But there are some good games out there that are coming out in the future.
I really want to play Super Mario Odyssey, which is a Sonic Adventure 3 featuring Mario.
It did look like that, huh?
It looked just like it, man.
It did.
But granted, I do love the colors of this game. It looks really good. It hasn't been a 3D Mario. I mean, I don't know if you count 3D Land. But
Yeah.
This is like a full
I'd count it.
this is like a free roam world. It looks like from the looks of it, which I really like. Other games, I didn't really see anything.
They're doing like another Splatoon 2.
Our live audience is excited for Splatoon.
I love Splatoon. I never played the first one. I heard it was great, and I just didn't get into it. I mean, maybe I could get into it, and I know they're having Mario Kart Deluxe and stuff like that, which is just basically kind of like not a remake, but
How
like,
is it a deluxe though? Because I haven't looked it up yet.
I think from what I read and everything, it's gonna have like all the DLC and everything like that.
Different characters.
Yeah. Battle mode.
Oh,
It has
Has
different battle mode.
Our audience is telling us it has battle mode.
One thing, and look me in the eye when I say this, is if Nintendo does not release an F-Zero title for the Switch, there's gonna be some hell to pay.
Hey, Sega made the last good one.
Oh yeah. See, you're welcome.
Alright guys, next topic, and one huge thing that got revealed today. Scorpio specs. That's right, the new Xbox Scorpio specs have been released today out in the UK. I'm sure you guys have read about it. Thoughts? Concerns? Comments? Suggestions?
I really can't wait for the PS4 Libra.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Atari Virgo.
Nah, but seriously, I'm excited. Personally, I love the 360 when it came out. It was my favorite thing. And then I went to a PS4. I didn't really touch the Xbox One that much just because all my friends on the PS4. But from what I've seen with the Project Scorpio, this looks really good. I'm actually excited for an Xbox console again. Nothing against the Xbox One. It's great. I just had a PS4. But I can't wait to play this thing. From what I've seen of it, it's a powerhouse. It slaps on the PS4 Pro, unfortunately.
The PS4 Pro, and not to say anything bad about that, it was a very slight enhancement. Like
Yes.
it
I agree with that.
It was, that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get into that.
It needed a bigger blue pill.
There you go. That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah,
That's a nice way to
That's
say
really
it, if you get it. But the Project Scorpio is quite a big enhancement. A lot of people even would call it almost a whole new generation of console, basically. So I'm not a big spec guy, but from everything that's been telling me, it's very powerful. Microsoft's making the claim that's going to be the most powerful console, and everything is telling us that it is. But what I like specs, and I like to have pretty graphics, just like anybody else. I know a lot of people say graphics don't matter, and they don't, but sometimes they do. Mm-hmm. Everybody likes to have their stuff, and we all have 4K TVs and everything now. Well, not everybody, but people are getting into 4K TVs.
It's gonna finally be a necessity.
People are getting 4K TVs, and the Scorpio promises on probably delivering some 4K gaming.
Okay.
So I think that's its big selling point. I think Microsoft also wants to have the best version of a multi-plat game. So,
really nice.
So let's just say you have Red Dead Redemption 2 that's coming out pretty soon. Let's just say you have the PS4 Pro version that's maybe going to hit 1080p, look beautiful. But let's just say if you have that same game running on the Xbox Scorpio at 4K. What game are you going to get if you have both? You're probably going to get the Xbox One Scorpio version, if they could deliver that. Now we're talking about graphics and everything. The games, Microsoft, that's what's going to sell it. The games. If you could not prove, but actually show the consumer like us that, hey, this is what you're going to get with Scorpio. You're going to get 4K gaming. We're always going to have the best version of the game. And on top of that, you hit us with exclusives. Maybe not exclusives just to Scorpio, but to the Xbox brand. That's what's going to sell the consumer on the Xbox Scorpio. So it's very important that you hit with those exclusives. If you're just going to say we're going to have the most powerful console and don't have any games to back it up, well,
that's hardware.
You know.
Yeah,
You know, it would be interesting if Xbox made this console mega backwards compatible to the fact where, like, hey, you want an Xbox console from us? Fine, you're getting one. You're gonna be able to play OG Xbox, 360 Xbox, and Xbox One and Scorpio games on this box. I think that would be really interesting. But they already jumped the gun on the name, because the perfect name for that would be the Xbox One. I think earlier today when we were talking about it, AJ had mentioned that it would be called the Xbox Infinity.
I like that.
Infinity
well,
would
Xbox Infinity, because Xbox Legacy, which would be pretty cool.
When you say Legacy, it seems like it's going to be the last one. Hey, by the way, guys, this is like The Undertaker. We'll never see you guys again.
Just put the controller down.
Rest in peace, Undertaker. Oh. But I don't want this to be the end all be all of Xbox, because I'll go out and say how I mentioned earlier. I like Sony. I'm not a Sony pony boy, but I like Sony. And you know what? Not until I want to say 3-4 years ago, I got my first PlayStation, and it was a PS3. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I felt my hands burning, because I was like, you're holding a Sony product, get it out of your hands. But after playing games like Last of Us and other
great games.
It was great games, other Sony exclusives like A Little Big Planet, and I had a lot of fun playing them. And you know, once the Xbox One came out, I was like, holy crap, this is rad. Mm-hmm. This is pretty cool. And I started playing a little more Xbox. But with all this talks about the Scorpio, I'm really hoping that they say we're going to really do something that hasn't been done before and make this an all-in-one console.
So you're even saying, because as of right now on the Xbox One, you play Xbox One games, and through emulation, Microsoft is letting you go back and play a lot of the 360 games, and they're adding more games as you're talking.
Yeah.
But you're talking about even adding a generation prior to that with the original Xbox.
Well, I'll even go further and say this. If the Scorpio will take physical discs
of OG Xbox games.
Well, here's the thing. Do we know if the Scorpio is going to have like an Ultra 4K drive?
Yes,
which
does.
I'm sure. Okay.
It does.
So it shouldn't have a problem playing these OG games.
Well, you got to do that.
My Windows 7 computer could handle Windows 95 software. It shouldn't be a problem.
Well, to do that, you gotta either you can only do it one or two ways. You gotta have some of the same hardware that was in the original Xbox into the Scorpio, or you have to do it through emulation.
Yeah.
I want to play the Xbox Scorpio with the Duke controller.
Okay, that's I'm sorry, man.
Is that wishful thinking?
That's wishful thinking.
And I'm out of here. What is it for?
So, all right, Microsoft, we're excited. You delivered on your promise from last year. From wherever we heard, Digital Foundry, they went out there. They said everything that you got, that they said that they were going to deliver, they delivered, plus a little bit more. You got to now deliver on the games. You got to go out there and make sure with those third-party games that you got the best version. And on top of that, you got to make sure that you have all your games, all your first-party games up there, up and running.
I'm going to say this. One huge expectation I want from the Scorpio. Just one thing. And if you don't have this, I'm not buying it. I need to be able to watch Netflix on this thing.
Oh my God.
They in today's whole press conference is teraflop this, a custom 86 core clocked at 2.3 gigahertz that.
Teraflops though.
They never mentioned Netflix.
Hey, last time Xbox mentioned Netflix was in 2013, and it didn't go over that well with gamers.
Yeah, gamers.
It didn't.
Ridge Racer!
Y'all gamers, you gonna start watching movies. One thing they didn't mention during the whole reveal, I mean, like I said, going back, you have your whole Jaguar cores, your teraflops, your flux capacitors and whatnot in that console. The price. Yeah. How much is this time machine? I mean, Scorpio gonna
Were you
be?
say time machine?
I mean, with all these specs, it makes me think I'm gonna go back in time. Hit this baby up to 88. But how much is this item in your living room gonna cost?
Well, they didn't tell us, but I believe, just based off I have watched and read quite a bit of it. It's quite expensive for all those parts and everything.
I'm sure.
that. But as a console, and since Microsoft is going to mass produce it, they'll get a little bit of a better deal. But honestly, if it's anything more than $500, I think it's going to be a hard pill for the consumer to swallow. So Microsoft, they might be taking a little bit of hit to sell maybe the console at a loss, but we have no clue how much it's going to cost for them to build. But just no more than $500. That's just cut to the point. No more than $500.
What do you think?
I'd love for it to be 400.
So,
but that's wishful thinking. But that's because you got to buy a 4K TV. On top of that, you got to buy an Xbox Scorpio, and then on top of that, you got to buy like all the cables for everything.
Well, I hate to cut you off right there.
Okay, cut me off.
If you don't have a 4K TV, it's fine. They did mention there is going to be this little thing in there that actually brings down the resolution to actually get the most out of your 1080p television. So it's not leaving you in the dust. It's like Xbox is having their hand out. It's like, hey, buddy, it's okay. We got you.
Okay.
You know, another thing too, just a real speculation question. What time of the year do you think this release might be? Is it going to be like the Switch where they released it near WrestleMania time, or
No. It's releasing this year. It's releasing this year. They're probably gonna. Microsoft is gonna hold their big guns, all their big information to E3. All right, and that's smart of them, and we shouldn't expect it. If they give us anything beforehand, that's great.
do you feel it's too soon to be this year?
No, it's gonna be this year.
Okay.
I think it's great to be this year. To be honest with you,
You don't think there'll be any bugs?
just as I said with the
Switch.
with the Switch and everything, when you're an early adopter and everything like that, you're always going to have some issues. But I will say that I believe that Microsoft has learned an expensive lesson with the Xbox 360, with the Red Ring of Death and everything like that. As you can see, us working at a repair shop and everything, what did we get the most in as far as the newer consoles?
Oh yeah. Okay. So for example, Big A today. There'll be a picture of him right here. Big A today, which is our trusty repairman. Throughout the time that we've been open, the Xbox One and PS4 has already been released. Throughout his history of repairs, I can count how many Xbox Ones there have been in repair with these two hands.
I think even less.
Maybe even less. There have been over 45 PS4s that have came in for repair. And I want to say around 60% of them for the same issue, which is a faulty HDMI port.
Yes.
And that's on all models. So then let's just go to show. And, don't say like, oh, well, HDMI. Of course there's other issues. But for the most part, the Xbox One has pretty solidified itself as a hardware powerhouse to the point where we're not seeing it come into repair. We're seeing these Sony PS4s. It's odd.
I think Microsoft with the Xbox One, they took a hit as far as it being more bulky to ensure that it wasn't going to break down.
Yeah.
So
no, that's one thing I do respect Xbox. Yes, Xbox 360 had some issues, but they really, like, when they made the Xbox One, like, I haven't seen anything. Their hardware's been solid.
all right, guys. Well, shoot.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And then, this is the World 1-1 podcast. We're very excited to bring this to you. What do we say? Weekly, maybe even sooner, depending on the news in the gaming world. If it's something urgent and we really want to get the news out to you guys, and we're going to have to do that. But for the most part, it's going to be once a week. Like I said, maybe even sooner. But we want to thank you guys. AJ, any closing words?
GSA is going to be back up and running. That's going to be good because we got more. I had a brain fart right now. We have more stuff for my camera, so we're actually going to be a lot higher quality now.
The quality, no joke. The quality.
What you're seeing right now is actually how it's going to be.
We've been listening to your guys' feedback, and we know in prior GSAs, a lot of people said, hey, you guys should probably get a better camera. Before, when we were using GameStop Adventures, we were using a GoPro. And it's good for what it is, but it doesn't get the best quality. So in the future, we're going to be using a much better camera, so expect GSAs with much higher quality.
And for those who are just tuning in and not familiar with any of our stuff, GSA is actually GameStop Adventures, and what it is we typically do like a day in the life of what it is at a retro game shop. We show you our trade-ins, do a little skits here and there. It's an overall fun time, and it's the perfect thing to watch when you're not watching anything. And it's according to one of our customers who we value very much, he straight up said he sits down with his kids and watches it, and he has premium cable.
Sushi King.
Do you know how much premium cable costs nowadays? He watches us over premium cable, ladies and gentlemen. That does say a lot of the quality of our content, because we're a premium channel. And you watch what we do. We gave away a Nintendo Switch. We gave away NES Classic. We're very thankful for the support and the viewers that we get. Any closing words, Rudy?
No, thank you. Keep on watching. I know we took a little break from YouTube for the last couple of weeks.
We were burnt out.
We were pretty burnt.
We were burnt out. We're back on it now, so thank you guys for your support. We hope that you will continue to support us, and stay tuned.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. That wraps it up. We'll see you soon.
お願いします。
お願いします。